everyone, welcome back to another video. As you can see, I'm back at home again. Our school is virtual again, so I probably won't get to film in the library for a while. And then with the baby coming in February, I don't know when I'm going to get to film in the library again, honestly, but hopefully this will suffice for now. I mean, it's close enough, my personal library. So today I want to tell you about a new rating system that I found. I don't know actually how new it is. The post that it's on is from 2019, like August of 2019, I believe. So it is possibly a pretty new rating system. One of my favorite booktubers, whose name is JD Ray Reads, she uses this all the time, and that's how I found out about it. But she has a British accent, so I couldn't actually tell the name of what she was saying. It's called Cawpile, spelled C-A-W-P-I-L-E, and it's an acronym. Each letter stands for something, one of the 7 categories that you use for rating the book. And when she first started talking about it, she was like, Cawpile. And I thought she was saying Corpile because she's British and that's just how she talks. But no, she was saying Cawpile. And I finally found it. It took a long time to actually find. But basically, so I printed out a little thing about it here. It's on a blog called The Floating Library. And it's by a girl named Amy Aline, I'm not sure. A-L-I-N-E is her name. So she came up with this, and it's a little bit complicated, but I think it might work for me. So instead of just giving a book a star rating, 1 star, 2 stars, whatever, she's come up with 7 categories, and they are as follows: characters, atmosphere, writing style, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment. And I can't really think of any other categories to add, so I think she kind of covers everything, because I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, is there anything else that we could add to this? But not really. I mean, that kind of covers it all. Now, what you do is you take each category and you rate it 1 through 10. But she has kind of specifics here. She says 0 through 3 is very poor. 4 to 6 is mediocre. 7 to 9 is really good, and 10 is outstanding. So I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you could even just sort of use, kind of a grading scale. That's what I would do as a teacher. I would think, is this a B? Is this like an 8? Is this a C? Like a 7? Something like that. But she's saying like 7's still really good. So it's a little bit different, I guess, than a grading scale. Okay, then she says you average the numbers together. So you got your 7 categories, add them together, divided by 7. And once you get that number, even if it's like, it'll be probably some strange number like 4.2 or, whatever, then you convert it into a star rating. And she has a chart to tell us how to do that. It is very specific, like 1.1 to 2.2 is 1 star, 2.3 to 4.5 is 2 stars, 4.6 to 6.9 is 3 stars, 7 to 8.9 is 4 stars, and 9 to 10 is 5 stars. So I thought we'd try it out and see how it goes. The one thing I don't like about it is that there's no half stars. So, this book, well, like the one I'm going to try this book I just finished called The Forest of Souls. And I didn't really like this book, but it was just enough that, I did finish it. I didn't DNF it. And usually it has to be at least 3 stars or I would probably just not finish it. But honestly, there was something about it that I was just like, it was mind-numbingly it was very mindless. So it kind of was just like, oh, it's a nice little escape and I'll just read it and it's whatever. It was just sort of there. I didn't feel anything one way or the other, which was interesting. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just there. So I'm curious as to what I would give this. I think I'd probably give it like 2.5 stars, which of course there is no 2.5 on this rating scale. So I kind of want to see how it goes. So if I had to rate this book for characters, that might be the only part that I kind of enjoyed. I didn't mind the main character. She was fine. Some of the other characters were fine. There wasn't much to the characters. So I'm going to probably say I would give it, now what am I doing? I'm doing it out of 10. And she says very poor is 0 to 3. Mediocre is 4 to 6. So I would say they're mediocre, but maybe on the lower end. So like a 4. I'm going to give characters a 4. All right. Atmosphere. That's why I picked the book, was for the atmosphere. I guess I should tell you what this book's about. It's basically about, it makes it sound really cool in the plot summary, but it's about a girl who brings her best friend back to life. It's a fantasy novel in another world, by the way. She was training to be the Queen's next royal spy, and she brings her best friend back to life and realizes that she is like the second soul guide who's like ever existed. And there's these shamans, and there's this guy named the Spider King, and she has to go learn from him a little bit about this problem that they're having, which is in the Forest of Souls. These there was this person, or this entity or something called the Soulless. Honestly, I don't even know it. I read the book and I don't even know what it is, but I think it was like an entity called the Soulless who infected these trees with, like, he put souls into the trees. And anyway, now the trees are kind of coming to life and they're bad, and she's the only one that can stop them, and there's going to be a war between the kingdoms, and she has to help with that. And she learns her best friend is like her, I don't want to spoil it, but there's an interesting connection between her and her best friend, which was actually the only kind of cool part. So it makes it sound really cool. It's just not as cool as that sounds. But the atmosphere, I mean, it was decent. So I'm going to give it a 5. That's why I kind of even picked it. Like I said, I just thought it sounded cool, really, for the atmosphere. The writing style, once again, very mediocre, not terrible. Maybe that's what kept me going, is that it was just kind of bland. I don't know. I'm going to give it a 6. Okay, the plot. The plot was way too fast-paced, which is crazy for me to say. Usually I'd say, you know, this book is boring and needs to move faster. A lot of these young adult books do, but it was in breakneck speed, and just all of a sudden they were in the forest with the Spider King, and all of a sudden he was doing this, and then they were doing this, and they were going here, and they were going there. It was a little bit too much. So it was a little too fast. There was at least a lot of stuff happening. What's the next category? Really good. It was not really good. It was definitely still mediocre. I wouldn't say it was very poor. I'm going to go 5 on plot. Intrigue. Well, it kept me intrigued enough to read it. At least I didn't DNF it. So I'm going to give it a 4. Well, I don't know, 5. I don't know. That's pretty generous. Logic, no, most of this book did not have much logic. It made no sense. So much of it, I would come to a part and I'd be like, this is so stupid, this makes no sense. I do remember saying that about a lot of the stuff in this book, so I'm going to give it a 3 for logic. And finally, enjoyment. Oh my gosh. It was not good. I didn't really enjoy it. But like I said, it was strangely mindless, so that's why I kept reading it. So I'm going to give it, oh my gosh, sorry, I'm like really nasal suddenly. I'm going to give it a 4. So basically, okay, I've given it a 4 for characters, a 5 for atmosphere, 6 for writing style, 5 for plot, 5 for intrigue, 3 for logic, and 4 for enjoyment. Now I add them together and divide it by 7, which I may use a calculator for. And then I'm going to come up with a star rating. So let me go ahead and add these together. Okay, so it adds up to be 32 for the numbers I just mentioned. And then we just divide that by 7. So Alexa, what is 32 divided by 7? Alexa, what is 32 divided by 7?
32 divided by 7 is 4.5714.
Okay, so we got a total of 4.57, which I guess we could round it up to 4.6. Oh, wow, but okay, so this is really interesting. So it wound up, the star ratings were 2.3 to 4.5 is 2 stars. So 4.5 is the cutoff, and then 4.6 is 3 stars, and we gave it 4.57. I just don't even know if I can round it up because it's not really a 3-star book. So it's at the very top end if you just went by like the 4.5 part as a 2-star. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's pretty accurate because I would have given it 2.5 and it was at the very top end of 2. So it would be a 2.5, almost 3, but not quite. So not even quite a mediocre book, I guess is what we're saying. So, okay, that actually worked pretty well. It kind of was what I probably anticipated. It might be a little bit high. Like I said, I'm not going to round it up to 4.6 because I would not give this book 3 stars. So, I mean, I think you could play around with the system and do what you wanted to with it. But the next book you read, I mean, try it and see if it works for you. I think I'm going to try it from now on and do this in my monthly wrap-up videos and go ahead and give everything a rating based on this, because the star system is so subjective, which I might do that too. I mean, but I think it'll come out pretty similar. But it's really interesting to break it down into those 7 categories, I think, and they really do cover everything. So like I said, the only fault is really that there's no half stars, and some people don't like to give their books a star rating. So if you didn't want to give it a star rating, you could just rate the individual categories and be done with it, you know, at that point. But anyway, so check it out. Hopefully this video was interesting to you, and I will see you again soon. Bye.